700 points now for the Dow, 438 for the Nasdaq, 2%, 2.5% across the board. Mike Lee joining us in New York today. Mike, it's hard to come back from a 20 or 30% sell-off pretty much across the board. But I think something tells me that you're a dip buyer. Right now, you're buying.
Well, Stuart, you know, the thing about Armageddon, it only happens once. So you generally want to buy these dips. And then also, for some reason, in America, we think of tariffs as a four-letter word. And we look at it as this destructive force that ruins everything in its path. I've just got two pretty good examples to show you why that's false. One is China. The other one is India. These countries have huge tariffs, they have huge trade barriers, and they have been extraordinarily successful over the last 20 years building huge manufacturing bases using those tools. So to think that it will somehow work out differently here is just preposterous. And look, it'd be great if everyone was a free trader, but it just simply does not exist. So this is one of the largest market overreactions I have ever seen in my life. I would almost say if you told me this, the tariffs were going to be worse than they actually were, and the market would react like this last week, I would have said you're absolutely crazy, and I still think it's crazy.
You stay there, please. I've got a lot to say to you for the next hour, so sit tight,
Thanks,
young
sir.
man. Thank you.
Thoughts?
But my point on this, Mike, is not necessarily a recession, but a slowing economy will hit corporate profits, and that will hit stock prices. No?
Oh, absolutely. I could not disagree with Larry Fink on that point anymore. And yes, they do manage a large sum of money, but the bulk of the money they manage is passive, meaning they're just offering access to the market through passive ETFs, right? These aren't the smartest guys, quote unquote, in the room at picking stocks and bonds. They are the smartest at raising assets and putting together a good business. So I will take him at face value in that. I disagree. One also thing he said, which echoes what I just said, is that this is much more of a buying opportunity than a selling opportunity. And so that's...
You're relentless.
Well,
you relentless.
You know, we hear what we want to hear.
Yeah.
And he certainly said that. So, look, I tend to agree with him on that. He said, I also agree, he also in that same statement said, we're likely to see more volatility. And I don't think that's very out of consensus from anybody.
That's very true. All right. Thanks very much, Mike. Left-hand side of the ladder, positive, Mike Lee. What do you say?
I say this is the first of many that we're going to see. We are going to win every single one of these trade negotiations. Why? Because selling into the United States is so much more significant to every one of these other countries than it is for us to sell into those countries. It is our consumer that drives the world economy. It is our military that protects the entire freedom of the Western world. Right? This is not going to end well for anybody that wants to fight against the U.S. And I think this will end up being a net positive for a lot of countries that reduce their trade barriers.
Fascinating. You're gung-ho, aren't you? I'm glad you're staying for the hour.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Now to China. Refusing to back down after President Trump threatened an additional 50% tariff on Chinese. All right, Taylor, thanks for joining us this morning. We will see you later on the Big Money Show, 12 noon Eastern Time. Okay. Mike Lee, relentlessly sitting here, plugging stocks that he likes. First, what you really like is Marvell Technology. You've been there before.
Yeah, look, you know, the stock was just at 120 bucks. Okay, it has just gotten absolutely decimated from this trade talk. It makes no sense. All of these chip makers that are up today, they all are running into the same problem. That problem is capacity, meaning they have demand that far outstrips what they can supply. And yes, maybe some of that demand to build data centers and GPU decreases slightly, but it's still going to be far in excess of what they can produce. And this is years to come. These are high margin, high powered GPUs for AI, which is not going anywhere regardless of tariffs.
Back to over $100 a share?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here he says. All right.
Yes.
How about Palantir?
Oh, well, back to my all-time favorite stock, what I think is the coolest company I've ever seen. They have specific technology for AI to help you optimize your supply chain specifically for tariffs, and they have been talking about this for months. So if you're a corporate CEO or you're worried about tariffs in America and you are not implementing Palantir, you are getting left behind, right? Instantaneous optimization to help you reroute supply chains, get everything in order, and also they are the leader of software for AI. This company is going to the moon.
You really love it, don't you?
Yeah, more than I should.
Mike Lee, you're all right. Coming up, the editor-in-chief of The Economist. Lee, with me. What do you make of Jeffrey's claims that Trump tanked the economy on purpose?
It's like when Trump's in office, the Democrats are your perpetual devil's advocate because they will literally take the other side of anything he's doing, right? And the notion that Trump would intentionally tank the economy to benefit one person or the other is ludicrous. It's just pure insanity, but it's what we've come to know, expect, and love from the left in this country. So I think this is an overdone market reaction. We're starting to get some of that back. I don't know that we'll get all of it back. I think it's going to be volatile. But the thing is, if you're going to make structural change, it creates short-term pain and it creates uncertainty. I think in the long run, this benefits everyone, right? And you need to be able to have a society where most of the population has a chance to succeed, not just the top 5 or 10%.
Mike Lee, thank you very much indeed. Here's what's coming up for you. In here, Mike Lee, please. I want to know what you think about the billions we're spending on handouts.
You know, Stuart, it's horribly inefficient in its best use case. And then when you start adding in all the illegal immigrants, all the fraud, all the waste, the abuse, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And what's going on with tariffs and the energy policy, the immigration policy, DOGE, these are all inextricably linked because since 2009, our GDP is we're up 100%. Debt's up 300%, unsustainable.
Got it. Mike Lee, thank you very much for staying with us for the hour. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Stuart.
Still ahead, Katie McFarland will break down Trump's pressure campaign.